It's time for Dishing It Up with Dr. Stroman and the Sports Shop on Buzz Sports Radio.
Dr. Stroman, how are you this morning?
D-Stro.
Good morning.
It's good to be home.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you on,
Yeah,
Dr. Stroman.
that was an interesting wind-up before I started. What's going on with you all? Did I
I have no idea.
Look, Dr. Stroman, I was trying to remove myself from the conversation because it got a little deeper than I anticipated too quick.
Okay. I was like, I don't know where we're going with this, but I'm going to wait. I'll be patient.
Good morning, Dr. Stroman.
Good morning, good
Help
people.
me
Good
out.
morning. I was thinking about, you all referencing the legend, Tina Turner, and I was thinking about when I saw her in concert.
Ooh.
So I was a part of the original staff that opened up the Smith Center at UNC back in the mid-'80s. And in 1987, she was there.
Yeah.
And that was a time period when the Smith Center had some of the most incredible musical artists performing. I saw Ziggy Marley, Bruce Springsteen. I mean, it was just an amazing lineup.
In the Smith Center?
Yeah, the PNC wasn't available then. It wasn't built then. So,
okay.
So Smith Center was
the place where it was
the largest venue. I saw Lionel Richie.
That's right.
So many people came through there.
That's crazy,
Men.
Tina. I don't think, has Tina Turner ever been back to the Carolinas since then?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't know about the state of North Carolina, but not the Smith Center.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But you mentioned Lionel Richie. Do you know when she separated from Ike, and it was Lionel Richie who actually asked her to open up his 1984 tour?
Really?
Which got her off and running. Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so it's
That's what's
pretty
up.
cool connection there.
Yeah, it is.
But how are you all doing? What's going on in the United States with the sports world? I have definitely a topic that's applicable, but how's everything going?
Well, Dr. Stroman, a whole lot that happened since you go.
No surprise.
The Lakers are no longer playing basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
LeBron is on vacation.
AD still AD.
AD still doing what AD do.
Yeah.
And I hate you probably didn't get a chance to see it, but I just had a question about the young coaches on the sidelines for these four teams that are playing, and it just makes me wonder, are they ready for what's being asked of them, or are the players not responding to the coaches? It's just so many storylines, I think, that you can look at in basketball right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, of course, we bring in the economic piece in it that we, way back when, and I'll speak more specifically to pro basketball, you got paid based on your performance. And we've had this big shift where now people are paid based on the potential. And so you have these superstar young athletes, superstar young coaches, but they haven't shown that they could actually win in the playoffs, that they can actually, play more than, 60 games a season. But yet it's top heavy towards potential. And I think about all those greats who played before them, and they had to wait until their third or fourth contract to actually make any money. So we'll see. Boston decided to go with Missoula, and we're going to see whether or not that was the right decision versus waiting for the season to be over and then reevaluating, because there are some veteran coaches out there who've proven that they can coach in the playoffs. And but, it's Boston. They've got their tradition. Even if it doesn't work out, they're going to make it, in marketing-wise, make it work out for the Celtics.
Because they still have Brad Stevens around, and they're trying to interject some youth into the organization. But, quite honest, I think some of that, Dr. Stroman, you may disagree with me, that I think the team, because of the way the transition happened, I think the team did not – they listened, but they only listened 80%.
Oh, I agree. I would say 60%.
Yeah, 60%. Yeah. They still want to do what they want to do, and it's always a slippery slope when an organization has a number of individuals that feel like they don't need leadership. Leadership is not important, and that some of that you can take coaching or business leadership, however you want to couch it, but they feel like that's not required. I don't need nobody to coach me. I don't need a manager or supervisor. Well. If you focus on what you really are doing, you need somebody to, watch other parts of the business, i.e., they should be watching what other players are doing, how things are running in the chemistry, what kind of moves should be made, and then you should be listening to their input on what to do next. But they decided they know best, which is why they're in this position.
That's right. That's right. So with that being said, I want to talk about where we are as individuals supporting teams, as in fans. The root or the full word is fanatic, a person who's extremely enthusiastic about or holds an intense, uncritical devotion to some interest or activity. So with what's going on with Ja Morant and the wellness check that was necessary, as in these external pressures on athletes and teams, the Lakers being swept, our Hurricanes being swept, and then the pressure on a traditional powerhouse like the Celtics not to mess things up. I'm thinking about fans and our desire, for a connection to athletes and sports and winning and championships. So over the years, we've had a number of what I call bad behavior incidents. And so I just want to bring those to mind for people, that we should no doubt support our teams and our athletes, but we need to put things in perspective. So one of the worst sport bad behavior incidents was actually in 1964, the Lima soccer disaster. I don't know if you all have heard about this over the years, but it was a major soccer match. In fact, it was a qualifying game between Peru and Argentina. And after an unpopular call by the ref, there was a riot. Fans stormed onto the field, onto the pitch, as we say in soccer or football. Did you all know that 328 people died and at least 500 people were injured? So this is clearly where fans are just out of control. Fans started trying to leave the stadium, which caused a mass exodus. I think there was like 50-some thousand people in the stadium, and people got trapped in the stairwells. People died from internal hemorrhaging and asphyxia. So things can get out of control, so perspective. The second one, I don't know if we talk about this a little bit, but Detroit Pistons, when they won their championship in 1980, even though they were out in Auburn Hills, throughout the city, people were so excited about the championship and, of course, whatever else was going on with their life, that 8 people died. At least 124 people were hospitalized, and 170 people were placed on arrest. 26 people who were injured were actually shot, and 2 people were stabbed.
Wow.
The third one, I know we all remember this, when Fan Man flew into the championship fight between Bo and Riddick.
Yep.
Excuse me, Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield.
Yeah.
James Miller had a motorized paraglider as he swooped into the ring.
And they beat the brakes off of it.
Yeah, considered one of the strangest events in boxing history. His parachute, it became tangled in the ring lights, causing some of the lights to pop, which really scared Riddick Bowe's pregnant wife. She ended up having to be taken away in an ambulance. She thought it was gunshots. The fight was delayed for 21 minutes, and, Holyfield ended up winning. But it was definitely something that brought more attention to safety and the wackiness of fans. The 10-cent beer night, this was in 1974 in Cleveland. Who would ever have thought that offering 10-cent beers unlimited would be a good idea? So eventually the drunk fans, they lost control.
Wow.
They ended up jumping down from the stands onto the field. Ended up being a melee. People were streaking. People were mooning. A woman was flashing her breath.
They're mooning.
Yeah, it was incredible. And then it wasn't too long later, I think it was several weeks later, the Cleveland team actually did it again. But this time they limited to 2 drinks, and they had much more security. And then the last incident I'll reference is probably the most tragic in terms of taking away someone's career. You all remember Monica Seles?
Yes.
1993. It happened in Hamburg, Germany.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
But a crazed fan ran out onto the 1993 WTA Hamburg tournament and plunged a knife between her shoulder blades during a changeover.
Wow.
And even though she recovered, she never was the same.
Right, never
and
was
she
the same.
actually stepped away for tennis for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
They found out that the fan was mentally ill, madly in love with Steffi Graf. But, you know, I say all this to say that let's have perspective. Sports is an escape. It is a game, and it's actually designed to give us second, third, fourth opportunities over and over again. It's called the next season. And so let's just keep our perspective during these playoffs and manage our I guess our ability to be good fans and good sports enthusiasts.
Wow.
Interesting. I'm surprised, Dr. Stroman, you didn't reference my state of Alabama.
And the toilet paper.
That
Not even that.
no.
Which every year someone dies because
Yeah,
of
right.
the game.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
literally, someone
Yeah.
probably. I mean, maybe not this year, but in the last few years, people died because of a game, Alabama Auburn game, and in particular, if Alabama was to lose, I know a couple of people got shot and killed because they didn't take the game. They didn't take the loss hard enough.
That's
I know.
horrible.
And that's a real conversation people were
Horrible.
having.
People are getting stabbed because
Yeah.
they don't, they making fun of others during the game.
Right.
It's just, but to me, I just think, I think it goes, at that point, it goes beyond what's actually happening on the field. It becomes personal between the two individuals, and it could be an argument over a loaf of bread, basically, all you left me were the two end pieces. You know I don't like the end pieces.
Yeah.
And it just becomes personal to a point to where it gets elevated to where my disdain for you makes me want to do harm to you.
Because a couple of times they were related. They were cousins.
Yeah.
These people were related to each
Yeah,
other.
so immediately, it starts with, the game or whatever.
Yeah.
But it immediately, whenever those type of things out, to me, I believe it just goes beyond that and becomes personal. Which is crazy because I got to look up this soccer incident. The opposing sides, where were they politically? Was it two different countries, two
it
different
was
cities?
something else going on.
You know what I mean?
Other than the game?
Because to me, it takes on another level of anger, other than just what's
it
happening.
goes back to the projection. United States or, North Carolina, the sports, the love of sports, it becomes like a family member.
Yeah.
Right, it becomes
And
personal.
whatever happens with family, I'm all in, and I'm going to protect.
Yep.
I'm going to do whatever it takes. And even if it takes us into a mode of depression or just overhyped,
That's true.
the money that's spent on gear. I mean, it's one thing to get a nice, pair of Hurricanes earrings or, wear the Nike Swoop bracelet. But when people are spending thousands upon thousands of dollars,
They do.
more than their water bill, more than their mortgage or their rent
That's
payments,
true.
Right.
you start to wonder, this association, this projection, there's something else missing in your life.
Uh-oh.
No, that's very well said. I totally agree with that one.
Yeah, that's, to this day, I don't go Chapel Hill without security.
Oh, God.
I'm thinking about Steve. What's his name? Steve Bartman, the guy that's in Chicago.
Yes, Chicago.
How he interrupted one. Thought it was a foul ball, but the ball was still in play. When he was playing the Florida Marlins, I think it was, and turned that whole series around. The Cubs lost, and then the guy had literally, he had to leave town. They was going to kill him.
Yeah.
Extra protection. They offered him witness protection program. Eventually, the Cubs forgave him when they won a championship years later. But I mean, just the ugliness, as in to actually take someone's life.
Yeah.
Which leads to something else you talk about all the time, and I know we got to let you get out of here, Dr. Stroman, where the professional athlete or superstar in this country and others, it can quote unquote get away with almost murder, right? And he gets second chance after second chance when the average person does not.
Right.
It leads to just that level of fandom, which is what creates that ability for that individual or for those individuals. And even if they want to just kind of like accept the punishment, or whatever, the fan in them will not allow themselves to see them as that person, which is weird. But
that's very weird.
Wow.
So, Dr. Stroman, a couple of minutes on Africa. How was it?
Amazing trip. It definitely, in fact, I'm going to write something on it, but making me even more appreciative of the power of being a United States citizen and holding that passport and what that does for me and the resources, the things that are available to me as a United States citizen. Amidst all the things that our government does, that some of our residents do, our citizens do, that is absolutely terrible, evil, wrong, unethical, there's something to be said to be a United States citizen. The beauty of the country, to be able to go to the actual palace and walk on the same earth, as in our shoes were off on the same place where the Dahomey Amazon women warriors were. I was actually in King Gizo's palace, for those of you who watched the great movie Woman King, to be able to be with children and just have their utter joy around playing drums, the development of the country, whether it is Russia, whether it's China, whether it's United States, our interests are very strong in Benin and helping to further develop the country, to learn from the country. Some interesting things I noticed out of my entire trip, and I was really around, I was out and about a lot. I saw very few people wearing eyeglasses. And so I started asking people, what's going on? I don't know if we just spend, as United States citizens, most of us, we spend too much time on the computer, or it's our poor nutrition or whatever. But they don't really, their eyesight is very, very good compared to ours, even at an older age. The food is great. Of course, you move away from so much processed food and sugars that we have here in the United States. So the healthiness, obviously, well, I won't say obviously, I did see poverty, but they were so happy. It's like for some of us, myself, I grew up in a low to middle income household and neighborhood, but yet you don't even notice what you don't have.
Right.
So the happiness, the joy that people have with little.
Wow,
so I'm glad to be back. I can't wait to be more reflective and go through my pictures, made great contacts. I'm very, very grateful to our State Department, the Global Sports Mentoring Program, and the Empowering Women Program. So thank you for asking.
As always, Dr. Stroman, it is a pleasure to hear about your world travels.
Yes.
And always when you go, remember to leave a little piece of the sports shop behind, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Just let them know. Leave a little piece of the sports shop behind. Thank you, Dr. Stroman.
Thank you.
All right, ACC baseball, get out to Durham, everybody.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
Excellent. Have a great day.
All right,
You too.
So where's the baseball?
It's a deep back, man. Come. you stupid.
Hey. What you got, 8 times? Like he was going.
I thought about it.
Virgin Cigars of Raleigh has the top cigars from around the world for you to smell, hold, and taste before taking them home. Receive a free gift with your first purchase. Stopping across from CarMax on Glenwood Avenue and online at virgincigarsnc.com, and be sure to ask about their private lounge. When you smoke the best with cigars from Virgin Cigars.
Man, I guess we'll come back. We're gonna get some legal advice.
Actually, we're gonna get that tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
tomorrow.
Well, we'll get GRW Law to call in tomorrow.
Yeah,
So.
Nice.
He's actually coming in tomorrow. He's gonna bless us with his presence.
It's the birthday boy coming.
I
in
know.
the
So we
studio.
figured he just shared his birthday, so we got to let him come in.
Don't come here showing off your tan. I don't care about your I don't care about your tan.
stupid.
You better have a hat on too when you come in. Don't come in. Look, well, ain't nobody safe. This is our show.
That's right.
We do what we want to do. It's our show.
Don't walk in with a limp.
We'll get you. Sports Shop. Reese came back. Let's go.
Now back